Hello and welcome to the legendary, when I say legendary, I really do mean legendary, Nippon Budokan, the home of judo. This is Tokyo 2020. You can hear the countdown. The Paralympic Games judo is about to start. If you're with me, then you are on mat number 2. We are going to be going through various different weight categories today. Men's under 66 kilos, the second lightest category, is what we're going to start with. Mat 1 has men's under 60s. We will also have women's under 52 kilos. We're going to be getting underway with the elimination round of 16. Here's the lineup, what we can expect going through the morning. Men's under 66, women's under 52s. A sort of half round of 16 is what we've got, as we have 12 entrants in the men's under 66, and in the women's under 52s we have 9. So in the men's we will have 4 preliminaries before we get into the quarterfinals. In the women's, just the 1. Four minutes is how long the rounds are going to last, and that's an absolute maximum. I say a maximum if the two contestants are level after 4 minutes, then we will go to a golden score. But the rounds will last 4 minutes. However, if one of the contestants gets an ippon before then they have won. An ippon, or indeed 2 waza aris. Now, what's a waza ari? What is an ippon? Ippon is the way of winning a bout. It's when you pin your opponent down for 20 seconds, or if you throw them to the ground and their back hits the mat. That's the mat we're looking at there in yellow, 10 meters by 10 meters. Waza ari is half of one of those. It's a 10-second pin or a throw where one of the shoulders hits the floor. That will all become very clear. Those of you who know judo well, it's the traditional scoring methods, and for those of you who haven't watched it before, don't worry, you will pick it up very quickly as we go along. Munkbat Ajim is involved in the first bout of the day. He is number 6 in the world in this weight category. First Paralympic Games for him was 9 years ago in London. In the under 60 category, he's in the under 66 now, and he finished 9th. And then in the under 66 kilo category at the Asian Para Games in Jakarta 3 years ago, he got a bronze medal. Don't be put off by the announcements that you can hear there. That's Hirai Takaki and Diego Marquez there on mat 1, but we're going to be concentrating on mat number 2. Man on the right there is Wayne Phipps from Perth in Western Australia. Well, the Democratic People's Republic of Western Australia, as it's now known in humorous circles. He's born in South Africa, but now fights under the Aussie flag, and he is up against the Mongolian Munkbat Ajim. Phipps, 48 years old, number 20 in the world. Moved to South Africa, from South Africa to Australia just over 10 years ago. Now you can see the referees pulling them together. You may be wondering what the level of impairment is for judo at the Paralympic Games, and it is visual impairment. So the referee has brought them both in, and he will now get them to grip one another. That is the main difference between able-bodied judo and Paralympic judo. You are allowed to grip. Hajime is the call, which means let's be having you, let's get underway. And this first bout is underway. It's Ajim making the early running. Phipps making sure that he isn't flipped over onto the back. The referees will pull them back in together. You can see them getting very close to one another, working out where they are, getting the grip ready. And you'll hear the call of Hajime in a second. There we go. Down goes Phipps in an attempt to get a throw on his opponent. Different kinds of throws. He's trying to get the leg inside. Reminder that for a throw or a pin to work, it has to be with the opponent landing on their back. Both shoulders are to the ground, then that is an ippon. One shoulder to the ground, waza-ari, which is half an ippon. Two halves make a whole, two waza-aris or one ippon, and the bout is over. You can hear coaches in the background. Coaching allowed in para-judo. The referee will break them apart if he thinks that the attempted throws or holds are not going to amount to anything. So a shido goes against Phipps. That is a yellow card. Phipps currently finding himself with one warning against him, which will count against him if they are level at the end of the 4 minutes. Waza-ari has been called. And there we have it, it's an ippon. No, just the waza-ari to begin with. There was a tremendous crash of the drums there, and it's going to be... Ippon has indeed been given. Yes, it was indeed an ippon for Munkbat Ajim, and he is through, defeating Wayne Phipps in just under 2 minutes. Let's see that one again. So Phipps's Paralympic Games is over in the space of just under 2 minutes. Disappointment for him, but Munkbat Ajim is through to the quarterfinals. Right, yes, there we can see the debate was whether it was both shoulders to the ground. It was purely an arm throw there from Munkbat Ajim. You saw the attempted leg clip from Phipps going inside out, lost his balance somewhat, and all the strength of the arms from Mungpat Arjim, converting defense into attack and throwing Phipps to the ground, just about both shoulders going down. An ippon for Arjim, and he's through to the quarterfinals. Combat's coming thick and fast. Next one up will be Eduardo Gauto Gallegos coming up against Seto Yujiro. Gauto Gallegos, who we can see here, being taken out by Roland Poiga. Gauto Gallegos on the left in white. Now, the red circle you can see on Gauto Gallegos is judogi. His suit means that he is totally blind, which is why he was led out by the referee. Reminder, it has to be shoulders to the ground for a waza-ari or an ippon to count. Gauto Gallegos in white, number 9 in the world, 9th in Rio. That was 5 years ago now. Seto Yujiro, number 19 in the world. He's just 21 years old. Gauto Gallegos, 33. Gauto Gallegos with far greater experience. Reminder that he is fully blind, hence the red circle, which is why the referee's leading him back in. They get the grip on one another, and then the call of Hajime will get it underway again. You can hear the Spanish exhortations in the background, obviously for the benefit of the Argentinian. That's his coach there. Bien, 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 telling him he's doing very well. Try with the other leg, I think is what the coach was saying there. Referee Roland Poiga coming round every time to get Gauto Gallegos, who seems to be limping a little bit there. So there is going to be a shido for a lack of attacking intent, and that goes against the Japanese fighter Seto. 4 shidos and you are disqualified. 3 will lead to a waza-ari. First one is a shido, second one builds it up to a yuko, third a waza-ari, and fourth hansoku make, which is term for disqualification, and it means an ippon against you. Now there's one shoulder on the ground, as you can see. If you can pin a shoulder to the ground for a count of 10, but the count hasn't started yet. You'll see the count on your screen. The referee will get the count underway. Here's the counts. So, if we can get up to 10, it's no. Ooh, 9 seconds. 10 would have been waza-ari. Gauto Gallegos just escaping from that hold inside the 10 seconds. Clock obviously stops. until the referee calls Hajime again. Get your grips. The youngster in blue, 21 years old. He's been the one who's got to make the running now because he has the Shido against him, the yellow card you can see. His visual impairment is less than Gauto Gallegos. Gauto always very slow to get back to his feet. As we see the coach of Seto Yujiro, Yoshiyasu Endo. She's the national coach. Don't worry about the crashing of the gong in the background. That was for mat 1. We're into the second half of this bout already. 1:34 is what the Argentinian coach was saying there, and that is what is left on the clock. You need to be the one initiating things, is what the Argentinian coach is saying there. That's the one, he says, and we have. The count is on, but it's against Gauto Gallegos. Can he hold it down for 10 this time? Just the one shoulder will do for 10. No. Yes, he's got an ippon. He's flipped him over. So the underdog inflicts ippon. Seto Yujiro, 21 years old, number 19 in the world. Despite the fact that he had a Shido against him, he was the one making most of the running in this bout. And that was all in the arms, that ippon. As we wait for Gauto Gallegos to return to his feet for the referee to confirm the result. It's going to be the man in blue, 21-year-old Seto Yujiro of Itoshima, who is through to the quarterfinals. No. It's just a Wazari, not an ippon. So, 1 minute 12 to go. Seto is in the lead. Once again, we've seen an ippon wiped off. The first bout that we saw, the ippon was wiped off and then put back on, confirmed by the judges. Was that not a second Wazari? Surely, surely, yes, this one. Well, it took him 2 bites of the cherry, Seto, but he's got it this time. Surely this one can't be wiped off. Beautiful Osotogari, the flick on the leg. It is confirmed. Ippon with 1 minute to go. I think it was from a second Wazari, so a second flip to the floor. One shoulder down, 2 Wazaris, that makes for an ippon. So 2 halves make a whole. That was the 10 points that you see at the bottom, with the 1 for the Shido as well. So there is the first Wazari. Hold one shoulder to the ground for 10 seconds. And then the second one, which we didn't get to see, was an Osotogari, the right foot around the leg of the opponent, flick in and out, push with his shoulder, flip the opponent to the ground. It was only worth a waza-ari because it was only one shoulder that hit the ground. But 2 waza-aris makes an ippon. 2 halves makes a whole, and that was enough to see Seto through. Sergio Ibanez Banon, the number 7 in the world, 22 years old. Second in the European Championships at the under 60 kilo category in Warsaw, in the West Midlands of Great Britain in 2017. Third in Genoa in Italy in the under 66 kilo category, and that is the one we have here. Ibanez Banon on the left in white, and this is an all Spanish-speaking contest. He's going up against Luis Perez of Puerto Rico, 34 years old, in blue on the right of your screen, number 14 in the world. He competed in Rio 5 years ago, 7th in the under 66 category. No red circles on the judogis, on the kit that they're wearing, so that shows that they do have a little bit of vision left. And we're underway. Ibanez in white making the early running. You can see Perez making sure that he's got his stomach to the ground here. He's not allowing himself to be flipped over. A reminder that it has to be the back and the shoulders for it to count for an ippon, which is the full scoring point, or a waza-ari, which is the half scoring point. 1 ippon or 2 waza-aris. Again, it's Ibanez making all the running. The Spaniard in white on top at the moment, literally and metaphorically. And there we have Perez trying to flip him over. Here's one of the ways of doing it. And here you can see him trying to get his opponent. It's nip and tuck between the two of them. Both of them trying to turn attack into defense. Ibanez trying to flip Perez over. Here's the equivalent of a submission as well. Maita, which is when you have your opponent in a chokehold and your opponent taps the mat saying, "I'm tapping out." And that gives ippon to the opponent. You can see the very animated coaches in the background. Gadiel Miranda is the coach for Perez. He's the one you can see on the right-hand side there. .222 remaining in this bout. Reminder that if we're level, dead level after the 4 minutes, then it will go to golden score. Ooh, was there a shoulder to the floor there? The referee has his arm out. Yes, indeed. So, Ibanez, one shoulder flipped to the floor. That is a waza-ari for Perez. Perez in blue takes the lead. So Perez now only needs... And there we have it. There is the tap out that was mentioned earlier. So it is turned around. We get the original waza-ari for the Puerto Rican Perez, and then Ibanez Banon gets his opponent in a chokehold. His opponent taps out and says, "Matai, I give up." And so the ippon goes the way of the Spaniard on the left in white. Giro, the victory is given. Sergio Ibanez Banon through to the quarters with a direct ippon from the chokehold. Three of the four preliminaries in the books now, as we see how Ibanez manages to get his opponent. There is the chokehold. We won't quite see it. Ibanez is in front of the camera angle, but you can see the Puerto Rican opponent trying to get him off. Couldn't do it in the end, and ended up tapping out, saying, "Matai, I give up." So Ibanez Banon is the third man through to the quarterfinals. Fourth and final preliminary round. Viktor Rudenko, number 16 in the world, 35 years old, representing the RPC, which is the Russian Paralympic Committee. He was 8th 9 years ago at the Paralympic Games in London. 3rd in the European Championships in Warsaw 4 years ago. Up against Robert Tanaka of the United States of America. He's a 4th generation in the US of Japanese heritage. So here we can refer to him as Tanaka Robert. He's on the left, taken his glasses off. On the right, Rudenko of the Russian Paralympic Committee. You can see the red circle on the judogi, which tells you that Rudenko is 100% without vision. So the referee will bring him in and the two will get a grip on one another. Tanaka with his glasses off, 21 years old. 5th at the World Championships in Odivelas in Portugal 3 years ago. Number 10 in the world, Tanaka. Rudenko number 16 in the world. We have 4 of these preliminaries in the round of 16. It's a half round of 16. 12 competitors. This is the 4th of those 4 bouts. And then the highest 4 seeds are already through to the quarters. Referee gets them to break, Ukrainian ref. And he will lead Rudenko back to the middle. It is actually 3 syllables, Hajime, but all barked out in almost 1 syllable there. Hajime from the referee, getting them back underway. Rudenko making the early running. He's trying to flip his opponent over and all but does it, but that's outside the mat. But the hold began inside the mat, so the referee had his arm out there. The count is going on. He's got his opponent in a hole, but no, the count is over. It's done. It's done. Ippon has been called for the man from the Russian Paralympic Committee, Viktor Rudenko. It wasn't for the hold, because the hold would have to be for 20 seconds, and we didn't quite get to the waza-ari 10-second mark, but then he managed to get an extra tewaza, an extra throw in there, and that got both shoulders on the ground in a separate move, and that gives Ippon to Rudenko, who is through to the quarterfinals, as the referee will now confirm. So we have had the 4 preliminaries. Ippon combined techniques there. It was originally a hold that began within the yellow part, the 10 by 10, and then even though it went outside into the red because it began in the yellow part, it could be continued. So this is what we will see to begin with. This is where the original hold begins. It then goes outside the confines, but it began inside. And then he was holding him down, trying for the 10-second waza-ari. And then in between, there was another throw that got both shoulders to the ground in a separate move. That was the ippon. So we've had the preliminary round in the men's under 66, the second lightest category. We're now on to the women's under 52 kilo category. Again, we will begin with a preliminary round.
Next contest, women.
And we will start with Metini Wongchonpu of Thailand. In white, fully visually impaired, as you can see from the red circle on her judogi, and she is taking on Natalia Nikolajczyk of Ukraine. On the right in blue.
In white, judogi, representing Thailand, Hiro, Thai, Metini Wongchonpu.
Metini Wongchonpu on the left, number 17 in the world, 24 years old. Nikolajczyk, 34, number 11 in the world. She finished third in London 9 years ago now. Won the World Championships 7 years ago in Colorado Springs. And we already have waza-ari for a leg flick and then push with the shoulders to the floor. And if she can get another 10 seconds, we'll be done and dusted. There we have it. So, 2 waza-aris makes an ippon, and in the space of 21 seconds, disappointment for Wongchonpu. Her Paralympic Games are over. A smile on the face, but disappointment. All business there from Nikolajczyk. She is through to the quarterfinals in the space of 21 seconds. The original flick to the floor, she leans out to her opponent, congratulates her. Commiserates, rather. So the original waza-ari, the flick to the floor, she then followed that up, held her opponent down for another 10 seconds. Waza-ari plus waza-ari makes ippon for that lady there, Natalia Nikolajczyk, through to the quarterfinals. Things can move very fast indeed. In judo, you can be eliminated in a matter of seconds, and here it's at 21 seconds. There's the first waza-ari. And then followed it up by holding down for another 10 seconds. Quick fire stuff. That was the only preliminary that was required for the women in the under 52 kilo category, because there were 9 of them, so we've got it down to 8, and we did so very quickly indeed. So let's get back onto the men's under 66 kilo category. And we're going to see a familiar face. We're on to the first quarterfinals. David Korava, not a familiar face unless you are fans of para-judo, and if you are, you will know him from the top of the podium in London 9 years ago. Won the under 66 kilo category third, just got a bronze in Rio, just a bronze, I say. And he is up against the man we saw earlier, Munkbat Ajim. Munkbat, who defeated Wayne Phipps. Munkbat in blue, 32 years old, number 6 in the world. David Korava, 33 years old, number 1 in the world. World champion in Antalya 11 years ago. European champion in Genoa just 2 years ago. Received the Order of Merit from the Ukrainian government. And also an honorary Master of Sport. So there is a Shido against both of them for not actually looking to score, just to get the opponent in a negative posture. So one Shido each. You wonder why the referee actually gives a yellow card to both of them rather than just saying, get on with it. Why sanction both of them? It's because 4 sanctions is an ippon, 3 is a wazari. So it's to make sure that you don't accumulate them. Down goes Ajim in an attempt to flip his opponent. Korava trying to get him in a different position, trying to flip him over. Obviously, it's the shoulders and the back that count when it comes to wazari and ippon. Referee pulls them apart again. Again, you can hear the coaches furiously barking out instructions in the background in Ukrainian and Mongolian. Almost getting to the halfway point of this bout. Korava, the world number 1 in white, making sure that the shoulders don't go to ground there. Referee again separates them. See plenty of blue tape on Korava's chest to loosen up those pectoral muscles. Obviously, plenty of people in the stands. All of them, you can see they've got accreditation around their necks. No fans allowed, as we know. Tokyo in a state of emergency, but it's always great to see. There we have a wazari. Goes the way of the world number 1 from Ukraine in white. Managed to flip his opponent's shoulder to the ground, just the one of them. Now he's going to try and follow that up with a chokehold. So a minute and a half to go. The qualifier, I'd like to say, Ajim, who went through the round of 16, finds himself with his back to the wall now. David Korava, the world number 1, a wazari to the good. 85 seconds to go for Ajim. Either to get a Wazari and level things, or an Ippon to turn things around. The gong you can hear in the background, that was from Mat Won. Don't worry about that. He's going to have to make the running now, the man in blue. I'm sure Korava would like to finish this off inside the distance, lay down a marker as far as his opponents are concerned. Reminder, 9 years ago, the man on the left in white got gold in London, bronze in Rio 5 years ago. A silver would make it obviously a full set, but he's going to be looking for gold. World number 1. Flips his opponent round. The move began outside the mat, so it's going to be allowed to carry on, but not for much longer, I don't think. There we go, the referee stops them. Can't continue indefinitely outside the mat. 35 seconds for the Mongolian to get back in this bout. .35 seconds for him to continue his Paralympic dream. Korava getting down very low. Here he's going to be able to take seconds off the clock. Referee gets them back. Blue on blue, white on white. If you look at the mat, little markers on the ground. That's 10 meters by 10 meters. And that is the way to finish it off. I said he'd be wanting to finish it off inside the distance and lay down the marker, and that was exactly what he was looking to do. Gets underneath. Flip over the back. A te waza, push forward, and then a flip over the top. And the world number 1 shows us what he's made of. David Korava of Ukraine. Already got the Wazari, adds an Ippon, an outright Ippon, not a second Wazari to make it up to an Ippon, but an outright Ippon to win it. And he is through to the semi-finals. Very much the class of the field. Gold medal 9 years ago. And then current world champion there. We see the beautiful flip over the top. It's not a te waza, it wasn't a straight one over, directly over his shoulders, more of a flip to the side. Either way, Ippon, and he is through to the semis. Who will he face there? And the answer is, it'll be the winner of this next bout coming up. Seto Yujiro of Japan. On the right, up against, there we go, Uchkun Kuranbayev of Uzbekistan. Kuranbayev, number 4 in the world, 25 years old. Reminder that Seto got through defeating Gauto Gallegos in the round of 16. Wazari already 5 seconds in. The man in white from Uzbekistan wasting absolutely no time. Already in the lead. Trying to get his opponent now in a hold. Well, 22 seconds in, and we already have a significant lead for the world number 4. Seto, 21 years old, world number 19 on your right. Kuranbayev, 25, world number 4. The one you can see on your screen and on the scoreboard in the background is a Wazari. And that's on the that's in the units column, as it were, if you're going to use old-fashioned maths. And then the next column along is the tens, and you get 10 for an ippon. 1 for a Wazari. Even though a Wazari is worth half an ippon. 1-0's enough to win it if you're level after the 4 minutes. It doesn't look like we're going to have it. No. Wazari ippon. And there we have it. Thanks given by the man from Uzbekistan, Uchkun Kuranbayev. The world number 4. 2 Wazaris makes an ippon. Twice he got one of his opponent's shoulders to the floor, and he's through in less than a minute to the semi-finals, where he will face the world number 1, David Koraba. Uzbekistan versus Ukraine in that particular semi-final. So the seeds certainly living up to their billing so far. The 2 qualifiers from the round of 16, both being dispatched by the top seeds, number 1, number 4. This was the second of the Wazaris. Gets inside the leg and then flips over. You can see the right shoulder touching the mat. And there Seto knew that the game was up. The fighting man from Uzbekistan is through to the semis. Next one up, thick and fast, the contests are coming. Namik Abbasli, the number 2 in the world. Taking on the qualifier, Sergio Ibanez Banon, whom we saw earlier. Sergio Ibanez, who defeated Luis Perez. Ibanez, number 7 in the world. Up against Abbasli from Azerbaijan, 23 years old and number 2 in the world. Third in the European Championships in Genoa was Abbasli 2 years ago. Equal third, he was one of the losing finalists and got a bronze medal, as did Ibanez. You have 2 bronze medals in the combat sports. So these 2 finished level on either side of the draw. They were defeated finalists, went through and won the bronze medal contest against repechage opponents. We'll get to the repechage a little bit later, because there will be a repechage here for those fighters who lose to the eventual finalists. Gives them a second bite of the cherry. But we'll explain that when we come to those repechage contests a little bit later on in this session. Ibanez in white, the He's 22 years old. He's a member of the Spanish National Organization of the Blind, who offered him a list of sports, and he originally tried swimming but decided it wasn't for him. Much preferred judo. He was named Para-Athlete of the Year in Spain in 2018. It was the year after he finished second in the European Championships in Walsall in the West Midlands of England.
Perfecto, 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 dale, 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 échale, ciérrale.
Ibanez in blue this time around. Abbasli in white, trying to get the shoulders on the ground for a hold. If it's just for the hold, you need both shoulders on the ground. If it's a throw, then one shoulder will give you a wazari. Reminder for those of you used to judo as opposed to the para version, thinking why they allowed to grip. This is para judo, where it's for fighters who have a visual impairment, so they always begin gripping their opponents. Mate breaks them apart. Halfway through this bout, and the only thing separating them is a shido that has gone against the world number 2, Namig Abbasli. So that gives the man in blue the slight advantage if we're level in 1 minute and 45 seconds time. I don't think we will be, though. There's been plenty of action between these two. One in white making the running. Ibanez trying to get his opponent in a chokehold. It's going to make it to the semi-finals. Hajime, we're back underway. Well avoided there by Ibanez. You could see the leg of Abbasli going round the outside. Mere 45 seconds to go. Referee calls them apart once again. Getting towards the end of the 4 minutes here. Golden score beckons. The shidos won't count until we get into golden score. Once again, we're going to have running repairs. This time it's for the world number 2. The shido, the yellow cards you can see on your screen, won't count until we get to the end of golden score. Golden score goes on. It's not for a specific period of time. It's until there are 4 shidos on either side, so disqualification, or a waza-ari or an ippon. I think the world number 2 is taking his time here, maybe composing himself, and his coach is the one on the left, being very quiet. It's Ibanez's coach that you can hear on the right-hand side, barking out the instructions. Back we come with 25 seconds to go. Encouragements for the Spaniard. So 25 seconds to go before we go to a golden score. Referee's going to be strict on them. You can see the world number 2 is trying to get himself outside the confines of the yellow part of the mat, which is what he's done. So the referee will call them back in for another 10 seconds. There's another shido against him for pulling down on his opponent. That's 2 shidos. Those won't count during regulation time, unless he gets another 2 very quickly. But they will work against him. They will be carried over into the golden score round. Golden score it is indeed. So we are now underway. This round will go on until either of the fighters scores. Those 2 shidos, of course, another 2 shidos against the world number 2. And he will be disqualified, or of course 4 for Ibanez, but he's a long way away from that at the moment. But 1 score will do it. A waza-ari will be enough to win. A 10-second hold. Referee allowing this move to pan out, but here he's going to call it. Plenty of Spaniards from the Spanish delegation in the crowd here, ready to cheer on Ibanez Banon. Crying out for a waza-ari there. I think that was more in hope than expectation. It's man in blue, the Spaniard making the running in this golden score round. Referee breaks them apart again. The golden score round, the time is going to go upwards. It's not counting down. It's until either of the fighters registers at least a wazari. Of course, an ippon would do it as well. And there's going to be a caution against the Spaniard's coach, probably for being a little bit too vocal. Reminder that a throw where one of the opponent's shoulders hits the floor will be enough. That will be a wazari. Ibanez taking the time to compose himself. Abasli getting right in there. He's now taking the bout to his opponent. There was a flip there, there's a wazari, and it's going to go the way of the Spaniards. The world number 2, Abasli, is down. He is out. Ibanez has made it through the round of 16 and the quarters. He's into the semis, to the delight of the Spaniards in the crowd. What a performance from him. Ibanez making his way through to the final 4. How about that? Well done to the 22-year-old.
Ibanez goes to the semifinal. Ibanez Azerbaijan in the repechage.
Disappointment for the world number 2, but what a performance from the world number 7, the 22-year-old. Winning it in golden score. Watch for the shoulder to hit the ground. Just about there it comes. Couldn't quite see it because it was hidden, but he knew it. He knew, Abasli, that he'd been eliminated. What about that was? Going the distance and then some. Georgi Gamyashvili of Georgia now taking on Viktor Rudenko of the Russian Paralympic Committee, whom we saw make it through the round of 16 earlier. Here he is, Viktor Rudenko. The final quarter-final. Gamyashvili says bye there. He didn't have to go through the round of 16. He's number 3 in the world. 3rd in the World Championships in Odivelas in Portugal 3 years ago. 5th in the European Championships in Genoa. Viktor Rudenko 8th. And the London Games, you can see, that's a reminder that if they have the red circle, that means that they are fully visually impaired, no sight at all. So the referee will help the far taller Rudenko. He's almost, it's not quite head and shoulders, but there we go. He's probably a good 6 inches taller than his opponent. World number 16, Rudenko in blue. World number 3, Gamyashvili in white. 35 years old, Rudenko, 26 years old, Gamyashvili. Some growling and some gurgling there, primarily from Gamyashvili. Desperate to flip Rudenko over, but not managing to do it at the moment. Referee breaks them apart as he can see that that move is not going to eventuate. Coach is shouting out the instructions in Georgian and Russian. It's Gamyashvili's first appearance at the Paralympic Games. So Shido goes against both of them. Gamyashvili leads it. Those Shidos won't count. The more important of the two is the Wazari recorded. If there's a second one, that's going to be enough. That is the end of the bout. A second Wazari. Two Wazaris makes a nippon. And there we have it. Gamyashvili brings an end to Rudenko's campaign. Unless, of course, he goes through the repechage. Gamyashvili with two Wazaris is through to the semi-finals. The world number 3. Gamyashvili will face Ibanez. So he'll be the favourite, but you can't underestimate Ibanez, who we've seen twice already today. They will be in the second semi-final. First one between Korava and Kuranbayev. That will come later on. There we can see the flip over, rolls the left shoulder, flip to the ground, the flip over the head. An Utsurigoshi, I do believe that was. So that's the men's semi-finals in the books, and we're going to move over to the women's under 52 kilo category quarterfinals. We'll get back to the men's a little bit later on for those semis, but over to the ladies now. Alessia Stepaniuk of the Russian Paralympic Committee. And she's up against Priscilla Gagne, originally of Sarnia, Ontario, now lives in Quebec. Fully visually impaired, as you can see from the red circle. She was her country's flag bearer a couple of days ago at the opening ceremony. Number 2 in the world, Priscilla Gagne, against number 8, Alessia Stepaniuk. Stepaniuk on the right, in blue. See on the right, they're obviously moving around a lot. The one from the Russian Olympic Committee, Gagne in white. The red circle showing that she's fully visually impaired, so the referee will lead her back to the center of the tatami, of the mat. Gagne 5th in the under 52 kilo category in Rio 5 years ago, as was Stepaniuk. 5th means a losing quarterfinalist, so the two of them were equal 5th. But Stepaniuk, 36 years old, she has a bronze medal to her name. She got that in Beijing 13 years ago. She also has a daughter, Daria. There's 36-year-old Alessia Stepaniuk for the Russian Paralympic Committee. She only took up the sport aged 22 in 2007 and then got a bronze medal the following year, an amazing achievement. attempted hold from Stepaniuk. The referee lets it go for a good 25-30 seconds before saying this isn't going to go anywhere, and he'll lead them back to the center. He'll go around, and white will start on white, blue will start on blue. Both fighters scurrying around, trying to make sure that their opponents don't make any leg-based throws on them. The osotos and the ouchis, where one foot hooks around the leg of the opponent or inside the leg of the opponent. Referee will take them back to the middle again. I'm sure we'll see it again once the bout gets underway. Stepaniuk's coach. Islam Ibragimov. There we can see the attempted leg hook from Stepaniuk. Tries the throw over the top, but Gagne was wise to it, landed on her knees as opposed to on her back. So now you can see Stepaniuk trying for a choke hold and also to get out of the attempted pin of Gagne. What you can't do, though, is pull down on your opponent. No sanction, though, no shido. Can be sanctioned for pulling down on your opponent. To judge that Stepaniuk wasn't doing that there. Gagne having to be careful that she isn't pinned to the ground. If it's a throw, then just the one shoulder is fine for a Wazari. Two will get you an ippon and immediate victory. But for a pin, both shoulders have to be down. Referee breaks them apart once again. It's been a very tight bout here. Gagne number 2 in the world, Stepaniuk number 8 in the world. Stepaniuk 3rd in Beijing, 5th in Rio, and then took time out to have a daughter, Daria. She's being led off for a little bit of treatment here. A minute and 42 seconds remaining in this bout. Obviously, it's a minute and 42 seconds of actual fighting time, as we can see a Maple Leaf delegation member coming out and maybe putting a little bit of petroleum jelly on a cut. That Priscilla Gagne, the flag bearer for the Canadian Paralympic delegation, may have. What have we got here? Seems to be getting a bit of fluff or lint off the judogi. Born in Sarnia in Ontario, now lives in Montreal in Quebec. Cleverly avoided there by Stepaniuk. You could see Gagné in white trying to flip her opponent over. Stepaniuk landing on her knees and her feet as opposed to on her back. Now she's trying to get a choke hold on Gagné. It doesn't work. Gagné broke both of her feet in a bout 10 years ago, and she was out of the sport for the best part of a year. Now it's Stepaniuk's turn to be led over for a little bit of medical treatment. Gagné waiting patiently. Her visual impairment is congenital. She has retinitis pigmentosa and wasn't allowed to play sport at school, which she was incredibly frustrated about. She said, my mum would have wrapped me in bubble wrap if she could have done, but my dad was happy to let me go out and give her a helmet, knee pads, and let her play whatever she wants to. She wanted to play ice hockey, obviously being Canadian. It's the national sport. She tried wrestling, karate, then switched to judo. She's a very competitive person is the main thing. She was working on her orange belt in karate, and they wouldn't even let her spar with opponents. So she said, give me something where I can actually get involved in something. I can actually compete and actually fight. Pinned to the ground by Stepaniuk, but obviously if you're facing forwards, then it doesn't count. So you're wondering why the referee lets them carry on. This is because Stepaniuk is trying to get Gagné in a chokehold. Reminder that you can get your opponent to submit, matai, and then you win via ippon. It's almost golden score now. There are 35 seconds to go, and a Wazari would do it. Well done by Gagné to avoid getting a shoulder thrown to the ground. "21 seconds to go. We've got 21 seconds to go. Referee calls them apart. As I said, it's pretty much golden score already. Any score now will win it, you'd have thought, with 13 seconds to go. And there is the score. It's a Wazari for Priscilla Gagné. She now just needs to manage the clock for a couple of seconds. And she, the North, wins it. Gagné. Elle a gagné. She has won. She is through to the semi-finals, but that went all the way. A Wazari is the only thing between the two of them, and it came with 10 seconds to go. The world number 2 makes it through to the semi-finals. What a fight put up by Alessia Stepaniuk, the bronze medalist from Beijing 13 years ago. A warm embrace between the two of them. You can see the disappointment. Stepaniuk's Paralympics over. What about that was? Gagné through to the semi-finals. Warm embrace from her coach. Certainly deserves it. She'll be very warm as well. Hot in the Budokan. So with a mere 10 seconds to go, Wazari wins it for Priscilla Gagné. Who will she face in the semis? It'll be the winner of this quarterfinal between Ramona Brussig and Carla Cardoso. Carla Cardoso of Brazil. Number 12 in the world, 39 years old. And then Ramona Brussig from Leipzig, one of twins. Her twin, Carmen, is in action in the slightly lower weight category. See if I can bring you some news of her. Have a number of medals between them, the Brussig twins. Ramona Brussig in white, number 6 in the world, but she won gold in London 9 years ago. And how about this? Gold in the under 57 kilo category 17 years ago in Athens. Silver in Beijing, silver in Rio. So she has been in the final for the last 4 Paralympics. 44 years old. Not that you should mention a lady's age, but is testament to her long and storied career. Wazari goes the way of the German, flipped her opponent to the floor. Carla Cardoso on the right, no slouch herself. She got silver medals in Athens and in Beijing. So Athens 2004, Beijing 2008. And if you're going to ask me how both Brussig and Cardoso got silver medals in Beijing, it's because Cardoso was in the under 48 kilo category and Brussig in the under 57. And here they are meeting now in the under 52 kilo category. Shido goes against Cardoso. But the main thing for her is that she is a Wazari down. One more Wazari would do it for Brussig. And is that it? Yes, it is. A second Wazari, and that brings an end to the bout. And Ramona Brussig is through to the semi-finals, seeing off the world number 12, Carla Cardoso. Referee gets them back to the middle of the mat. A great deal of ceremony in this sport. And Brussig. Gold, silver, gold, silver. Will it be gold again? Well, she's well on the way through to the semi-finals. Ippon from combined techniques means it was 2 waza-aris. I'm sure we'll see one of them any second now. Here's the second one. Leg goes all the way around and then a flip over the top. And Uchimata to finish off for that waza-ari. And she's through to the semis. That's the top half of the draw. Let's go down to the bottom half of the draw. Shirin Abdellaoui is about to take on Natalia Nikolajczyk. Natalia Nikolajczyk, whom we saw defeat Metini Wongchompu in the round of 16 in a mere 20 seconds. She's going to have a work cut out now, though, against Shirin Abdellaoui, world number 4. There's the referee for this contest. 34-year-old Natalia Nikolajczyk on the right, number 11 in the world. Shirin Abdellaoui, just 22 years old. She's world number 4, third in Rio 5 years ago. Whereas Nikolajczyk was third in London 9 years ago. So 2 bronze medalists. You fancy one of them to be on the podium today. Nikolajczyk with that very quick warm-up, almost. Winning in 21 seconds. A round of 16 match. She was the only one who had a round of 16 match, but she won't mind the fact that she's had a little bit of a warm-up. Abdellaoui was just after her 18th birthday when she won the bronze medal in Rio. It's going to be her 18th birthday tomorrow, actually. Sorry, her 23rd birthday tomorrow. So she'd like to celebrate with a medal again. She was the youngest Algerian athlete from any sport to win a medal at the Paralympic Games when she won that bronze. Reminder that the red circle that you can see on Nikolajczyk's judogi shows that she is fully visually impaired, so no sight at all. That move was begun inside the yellow, so the referee will allow it to continue. And then when it changes into a different move, he'll stop it because you can't begin a different move outside the 10 by 10. Referee leads her back in, the fully visually impaired Natalia Nikolajczyk. Abdellaoui making sure that nothing came of that particular attack. She was squatting down. No danger of being flipped over onto her shoulders. Both ladies making sure that the judogis are correctly adjusted, belts tightened. Don't want to give your opponent anything extra to grab on. Abdellaoui's coach tending to speak to her in Arabic, but there's the odd French word in there. Agressive is one of them, so show some aggression. It was more a stumble off the mat as opposed to the beginnings of an attempted throw. Hajim is the call, getting them underway again. Reminder that this is a quarterfinal. Attempted flip where you could see that Nikolajczyk made sure she wasn't flipped over, landing forwards. Second lowest of the weight categories, so obviously very agile fighters. Always hear the Algerian coach saying agressive, agressive. Wanting the world number 4 to take the fight to her opponent. Nikolajczyk trying to keep a foot inside the mat so she could continue the move there. Nikolajczyk on the right when she won bronze medal at the London Paralympic Games in 2012. She received the Order of Princess Olga back in her native Ukraine. Born and lives in the city of Rivne. C'est bon, says coach Lahouri Nadir Belarbi to Shireen Abdelawi, telling her that she's doing well. Halfway through this bout. Halfway, of course, if it goes only the distance, if it doesn't go beyond. Obviously, if it's level, 0-0 or 1-1, then it will go to golden score. As we see, a little bit of blue material has come off the judogi of Nikolajczyk. Ref will move that out of the way. Pockets that. Abdelawi being told to manage the fight, but she's not managed it as well as her opponent thus far. The referee inflicting the first shido on her for lack of attacking intent. That was the rolling of the arms you could see there. I can only help you out with the French words he uses. My Arabic isn't up to snuff, I'm afraid. Flip over. Could have been a Wazari against Nikolajczyk. Now she's trying to get her opponent in a chokehold, but it's not going to work. No challenges, not like the Taekwondo where you can have a coach's challenge. Occasionally you'll hear the coach or the delegations in the background shouting out Wazari if they think that a move hasn't been seen by the referees. A minute and a half to go. Nikolajczyk going down, trying to flip her opponent over the back. Abdelawi trying to get the foot inside. An Ouchi move. Now Nikolajczyk using her legs, trying to pin her opponent down. You can see Abdelawi almost rolling up into a ball to make sure that the shoulders don't touch the mat. Referee's going to call them apart here. "47 seconds of a very tight bout." A reminder, as you can see, the red circle fully visually impaired Nikolajczyk, so the referee leads her back to the center of the tatami. Pulling down a second Shido goes against the world number 4. Those Shidos won't stop it going from going into golden score, but obviously 4 of them and you're disqualified. And I do believe 3 of them is a wazari, so 1 more of those in golden score, or indeed now, would work against her. We're now entering territory where it's virtual golden score before we get to the actual golden score. You get the feeling now that a wazari would win it, as we saw with Priscilla Gagné last time out. Half a minute to go. Referee's been strict on Abdelawi. Down goes Nikolajczyk. She might have a Shido against her. It was an attempted, I would say, Seoi Nage, going down and trying to flip your opponent over your back. But she went down rather quickly there. She needs to make sure she doesn't go down too quickly. "20 seconds away from golden score, but as I say, it's pretty sure that even a wazari would win it now." Nervous times for both fighters. Looking to win it, looking not to lose it. Was that a wazari? Yes, it was. Wazari goes the way of Abdelawi with 10 seconds to go. She's going to hold her opponent down. She's holding her down. 10 seconds would get another wazari, but it'll run time off the clock. There won't be time for a second wazari. The gong goes. Abdelawi wins it. A wazari with 10 seconds to go, and the world number 4 takes it, comes from behind, and she's through to the semis. Real disappointment from Nikolajczyk, who must have thought that a semi-final berth was hers for the taking. But it's the 22-year-old Rio bronze medalist who makes it through to the semis, and she's given herself a wonderful chance of getting some more hardware this time around. What about that was? Went the distance.
Abdelawi goes to the semifinal.
I think it ended up being an ippon because they allowed the second wazari for the pinned hold to continue. It went beyond the gong, but it was allowed to continue. If the hold begins before the end of the 4 minutes, then you can continue. Here's the first wazari. Enough of a throw. It wasn't the shoulders, but half of the back was down. And then a warm embrace at the end. Third of 4 quarterfinals. Here's the final one. Basti Safarova of Azerbaijan against Fujiwara Yui of the home nation. Fujiwara Yui being led out. Do like those Japanese. And what color would you say those shirts are? Is it salmon pink? It's maybe a little bit stronger than that. I've got my daughter one, she very much likes it. Basti Safarova of Azerbaijan, number 5 in the world, 23 years old. Vasily Simolin is the referee. And then Safarova's opponent is Fujiwara Yui, 28 years old, number 10 in the world. And we're underway in this fourth and final quarterfinal. Both players looking to lock legs there. It's not like Taekwondo where you have shin guards. So if the two of them are trying to get a leg lock, and Osoto or an Ouchi, then it can end up being a little bit painful. Fujiwara's technique seems to be a bit of a kicking one. There we can see her trying to get a leg lock. The leg locks being the uchi, which is inside, or an osoto around the outside. There's the inside attempt at a lock or a flip. Fast and furious stuff. First break is after 52 seconds, but it's decided that neither of them was actually trying to make a move, so they each get a shido. Rather than just warning both of them verbally, he gives each of them a shido, because 4 means ippon. If you have 4 then against you, then it's ippon to your opponent. Mind that there are 2 mats going on, so you occasionally hear a gong or an announcement of a winner. But if the referee hasn't given it on the mat that we're watching, then don't worry about that. Both fighters favouring the attempted leg moves. Fujiwara then backing into her opponent to try for a flip over the back, a nage, and then getting out of it as quickly as she got into it. She's far more at home making moves with her legs. Both of them going for leg moves. They seem to be kicks, and I think they're running the risk of getting another pair of shidos here. There's a lot of kicking, not a lot of locking of legs. Shido goes against Fujiwara this time. You can see her kicking out at shins, but not really looking to lock a leg inside or outside. There was more intent, and she's been caught out a little bit. Flip back up. Can she be rolled over by her opponent? Not quite. You can see the way that Fujiwara was making sure that she landed forwards every time. Minute and a half to go. Don't worry about the shidos just yet. Shidos don't count. They're carried over into golden score. But if it's 2-1 in shidos, then that won't make a difference as far as golden score, going to golden score is concerned. You can hear the voice of Sato Masaya Fujiwara's coach in the background. Also Rabim Ibramov, Basti Safarova's coach. Safarova making all the running. Referee having to call them apart a lot here. More shidos may be in the offing. He's going to be loath to do that because 3 shidos makes a wazari. You don't want to see a contest decided on shidos, but it does happen. Getting into the final 30 seconds. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You're getting into virtual golden score territory. You get the feeling that a wazari will win it from here. Going round the outside, Fujiyama, but here, no, she manages to land forwards. Fujiwara. Can she be flipped over? The referee allows it to continue for a while. It's been all Basti Safarova, 23-year-old world number 5, on the left of your screen at the moment in white. 12 seconds to go before we get to actual golden score, but a wazari would win it from here. But we're not going to have that wazari. It is going to go to golden score. Reminder that golden score is open-ended. It's until either player, either fighter records a score, but a wazari will do it. It doesn't have to be ippon. It has to be ippon to win it inside the distance. Wazari if you're ahead by a wazari at the end of the 4 minutes, and then a wazari will do it now. Reminder that shidos will count. They've been carried over, as you can see. Fujiwara can't afford to have another shido. 4 disqualifies you within the 4 minutes. 3 is the equivalent of a wazari. So 1 more shido against Fujiwara, and she will be out of the competition. Two fighters make sure they get a good grip on one another, which is allowed in para-judo. Referee asks coach Ibrahimov to cool his jets a little. But obviously this is sudden death. One flip with a landing on part of the back or one shoulder would do it now. A hold for 10 seconds also gives you wazari. Both fighter looking to win it, neither fighter wanting to lose it, obviously. Reminder that this is the 4th and final quarterfinal. Shido goes against Safarova, so that was for backing off her opponent. So both of them walking a Shido tightrope. flip. Fujiwara manages to land forwards. Safarova has made all the running in this fight, but it won't go down to a judge's decision at any point. It's purely on the scoreboard. We can see a big red mark on Fujiwara's neck. Fujiwara, 28-year-old world number 10. Safarova, 23-year-old world number 5. Neither of them has had a great deal of competition over the last 18 months for obvious reasons. And obviously, when you're in lockdown, it's difficult to find sparring partners. Safarova is from Baku, the capital, and she attends the state university there. Originally competed in able-bodied judo, won silver at the national championships in 2017 in the 63 kilo and under category. Here she's obviously in a lighter category here. Bronze in the national championships in the 57 and under, and here she's in the 52 and under. Two minutes into golden score. Reminder, it can go on as long as is necessary. Was that a shoulder there? Not quite. It's been all Safarova. Dogged defense, staying alive, Fujiwara. Two of them have to make sure that there are no shidos against them. There we can see the Azerbaijani delegation filming away, hoping that Basti Safarova makes it into the semi-finals. Again, it's Basti Safarova with the attacking intent. How long is the referee going to hold off giving a third shido to Fujiwara? Tend to allow a lot more leeway when it gets to golden score, particularly when it's two shidos apiece. Fascinating contest, this one. Almost into an 8th minute. Reminder that one score will win it. That's the referee saying, do something, do something. Hey. He's giving Fujiwara a good look. May well have been saying there to coach Masaya that Fujiwara is really treading on eggshells here as far as a third shido goes. Showing just enough intent, Fujiwara. Two very tired fighters here. Golden score now almost gone as long as the actual bout itself. There are just 9 fighters in this category, so both fighters had a bye, as it were, into the quarterfinals. There was just the one playoff to get to the quarterfinals. As we go beyond 4 minutes in the time added on, into a 9th minute of this bout now. And a Shido goes against Basti Safarova. A third Shido is a Wazari, and that means that Fujiwara has won it. Third Shido against Safarova. She's going to be in tears here. Disqualified. 3 Shidos makes a Wazari, and any score wins it in golden score. She can barely bring herself to bow to the officials. Fujiwara is through. Disqualification against Safarova. What a way to end it. It was for a lack of attacking intent from the fighter who'd shown everything that she had to throughout the bout, but there you can see she's not actually doing very much. That was as near as she got to recording a Wazari. But it's Fujiwara who goes through to the semi-finals. So that's the women's quarterfinals done and dusted. We will move on soon to the men's, back to the men's under 66 kilo category.
Now we have a short break for the tatami disinfection.
Short break, as you could probably hear in the background from the stadium announcer. The 2 tatamis are empty, but don't worry, you won't miss any of the action as soon as it starts up again. We will be right back here to bring it to you. Tatamis are going to be mopped down.
representing Azerbaijan. Nami Abbasli.
Into the repechages for the men's under 66 kilo category. The repechages will be between the losing quarter-finalists, and we've got a pre-repechage here, which is for two people who lost to Kuranbayev, who's through to the semis. Sorry, who lost to Ibanez, who's through to the semis, namely Perez in the preliminary round and then Abbasli in the quarterfinals. Those two are going to fight off now in a repechage to make it through to the repechage. This is what we like to call a pre-pechage, or what I like to call a pre-pechage. Perez on the left in white with the red circle to indicate that he's fully visually impaired. On the right, Abbasli. Usual rules apply. 4 minutes. 2 Wazaris makes an ippon. So the winners of this will get through to a repechage, and the winners of that repechage will play a losing semi-finalist for a bronze medal, and there will be 2 bronze medals, one on either side of the draw, and you'll obviously play the losing semi-finalist from the other side of the draw, as opposed to somebody on your side of the draw that you've already come up against. Perez of Puerto Rico, who lost to Ibanez in the round of 16. And then Abbasli, who lost to him in the quarterfinals. Abbasli, the world number 2, born in 1997. Birthday's coming up. So he's going to be 24 in a couple of weeks' time. Luis Abdiel Perez, number 14 in the world. His birthday's next month as well. It's almost a month today. It's the 26th of September. He will be 35 when that birthday comes around.
Representing Azerbaijan. Namik Abbasli.
Abbasli is through. Ippon to the number 2 seed. Let's see that one again. You can see him flip his opponent over and get there. We can see the one shoulder down. Next one comes down as well. Scissor movement with the legs, flipping his opponent onto his back. Abbasli wins it and is through to the full repechage. Now, the business end. Repechage means you can get a silver medal. Sorry, a bronze medal. Here, these guys are going for silver and gold. David Korava going up against Uchkun Kuranbayev. David Kurava, #1 seed. 33 years old, the winner in London 9 years ago. World champion 11 years ago in Antalya, European champion in Genoa just a couple of years ago. Up against Uchkun Kuranbayev, 25 years old, the #4 seed. So #1 against #4, that's what you want to see in a semi-final. 33-year-old Kurava on your left in white. Kuranbayev, the fighting man from Uzbekistan, 25 years old in blue. Fast and furious stuff already in this semi-final. Mind you, this is a semi. The winner of this gets through to the final and is guaranteed a silver. The loser will then face the winner of the repechage that we'll see a bit later on from the bottom half of the draw, because here we're in the top half. Kurava, winner in London, 3rd in Rio. Silver would give him a full set, but he's going to be going for gold. World #1. A Shido apiece for refusing to get a decent grip. Referee calls them apart as they go off the mat. Relax, get yourself into a proper grip and get ready for a proper combat. Next time you'll get penalties, is what the referee said. They've already had one each. 3 makes Wazari, 4 makes Ippon. Plenty of advice being shouted out in Uzbek and in Ukrainian. How can they relax? Winner of this gets at least a silver medal. Referee breaking them apart. There've been a lot of breaks, and I think there could be more shidos to come very soon. Backing off, 2 shidos apiece. 1 more shido on either side makes Wazari, which won't end the contest, but it puts the opponent in the lead. Is there going to be another shido here for backing off? I don't think so. It was unintentional on the part of Kurava. Failed to get a grip. Hajime is the call, getting them back underway again. Very live leg work from the pair of them. This is allowed to continue because it began on the mat. There's a hold. Can he get him down for 10? No, he can't. So it was an original pin there from Kuranbayev. Kuranbayev managed to pin Kurava down, but not for 10 seconds. Ten seconds would have been Wazari. been fast and furious stuff, but in short bursts. Referee keen to step in every time. Kuranbayev needing a little bit of treatment. "25 years old. It's his birthday last month. Number 4 in the world. David Kurava waiting for him. European champion in Warsaw 4 years ago, Genoa 2 years ago. World champion in Antalya on the south coast of Turkey. Beautiful Mediterranean resort. That was 11 years ago now. 9 years ago, gold in Rio, as in London rather, and then bronze in Rio 5 years ago. Reminder that in judo, all of the athletes, in para-judo of course, all of the athletes are visually impaired. These two have some vision. Move was begun within the yellow, so it was allowed to continue for a little while. Stop-start stuff here. Both fighters moving around very nimbly, as you would expect in the under 66 kilo category. Goes as high as under 100 and then over 100 kilos. That's a different kind of judo. Referee telling him to keep going. You're allowed to continue a move you began in the yellow. But once that move breaks down, you can't continue and try another move once you're onto the pink. We seem to have been going for a long time in this particular semi-final. We're only halfway through the bout. Referee giving a little bit of leeway. Here's a hold. Can he hold it for 10? You can see the counter coming up. Can he have at least one shoulder down for 10 seconds? That'll be Wazari. There we go. If he can keep it down for 20, and it looks like he's going to do that, there we have it. Wazari becomes Ippon. And it's the fighting man from Uzbekistan, Uchkun Kuranbayev, who knocks out the world number 1, Kuranbayev, into the final. Kurava will only have a bronze medal to play for. Kuranbayev guaranteed a silver. He'll want to go for gold. What a curious bout that was. Fits and starts. Each of them got a Wazari there towards the end. There was an original Wazari from the throw from Kurava. Kuranbayev then converted that into a hold that he held for 10 seconds for the first wazari and another 10 seconds to convert that wazari into ippon. And he it is who goes through to the final. First wazari. He's there. There it is. And then second wazari from Kuranbayev, and there's the hold. Kurava not able to get out of it, holds it for 20 seconds. Kuranbayev through to the final. Who will he face there? The winner of the second semi-final, the outsider Sergio Ibanez against Georgi Gamyashvili. Gamyashvili, who defeated Viktor Rudenko in the quarterfinal. Ibanez, who's done things the hard way, had to go through a preliminary against Perez and then defeated Abbasli in the quarters. Perez and Abbasli, whom we saw in the repechage. This one, the second semi-final, to see who meets Kuranbayev in the final. And we're underway. Ibanez in white. And we already have a wazari for him. 10 seconds in and he gets a wazari against Gamyashvili. Flips his opponent round, gets one shoulder to the ground. Don't mind the gong, that's on the other mat. Sergio Ibanez, number 7 in the world. Gamyashvili, number 3 in the world. Gamyashvili, 26 years old, Ibanez, 22. Two of them competed at the World Championships in Portugal in 2018. Ibanez finished 9th, Gamyashvili 3rd. Flipped those results at the European Championships in Genoa 2 years ago. 3rd place for Ibanez, and Ibanez gets a second wazari, and he's through into the final. Delight from the Spaniards in the crowd. They've had plenty to cheer about so far today in the men's and the women's side, and now they have a finalist. Ibanez didn't have the luck of the draw, has to come through a preliminary, but he's come through the preliminary, the quarter and the semi. He is in the final. The final will be Kuranbayev versus Ibanez.
Ibanez of Spain goes to the final.
Quick fire stuff from him after the stop-start contest in the first semi-final. 2 wazaris makes an ippon for him, and he does so inside the first minute. He now gets a little bit of a break. He will come back in the afternoon session. Let's have a look at the second wazari. Flips his opponent over. There is the shoulder to the ground, and don't the Spaniards in the background know it? Delight, job done inside 45 seconds. Semi-final action continues, not on the left, that's mat number 1, but it's going to be on the right. Priscilla Gagné against Ramona Brusig. Quebec versus Leipzig. Canada versus Germany. Priscilla Gagné, the Canadian flag bearer, as you can see, being led on by her coach. The red disc also tells you that she's fully visually impaired. Ramona Brusig, one of twins. She has a little bit of vision. But here they are, duking it out for a place in the final. Hajime underway. Underway very quickly, flip over onto the back. There's a Wazari already for Priscilla Gagné. Halfway there. Andere Seite, says the coach of Ramona Brussi. Get on the other side. Ramona Brusig here in the under-52s, her twin sister Carmen in the under-48s on the other mat. And we have a second one inside 23 seconds. How about that? Priscilla Gagné, 2 Wazaris through to the final. Don't think either fighter can quite believe it. Brusig down. Injured knee. Gagné not entirely sure. Obviously fully visually impaired. Difficult for her to know exactly what has happened, but she is going to be fated by the referee any second now. Second Wazari, Ippon, and she is through to the final. And there we go, the cries of well done, Priscilla, from the crowd in the space of 33 seconds. Canada's flag bearer, literally and metaphorically carrying the maple leaf. She is through to the final. What a performance from Gagné. Gagné won it in the space of 33 seconds. 2 Wazaris, let's see the second of them. The nugget using the back, flipping it, flipping Brusig over. Brusig hurting a knee a little bit in the process. Brusig will live to fight another day. She will come back for a bronze medal match, facing the winner of a repechage, but Gagné is through to the final. She will face the winner of Shireen Abdelawi and Fujiwara Yui, who will fight it out now in the second semi-final. Fujiwara, who defeated Basti Safarova in the quarters, in that one that went the distance and beyond. And then Safarova picking up a third Shido and disqualified. And in Shireen Abdelawi defeating Nikolajczyk right at the very death with a very late Wazari. Shireen Abdelawi in white on the left at the moment, number 4 in the world. Fujiwara Yui, 10 in the world, 28 years old. Abdelawi, 22. Abdelawi, 22, should be 23 tomorrow. Bronze medalist at just 18 years of age in Rio 5 years ago. Referee gets them back underway again. Good leg work from Sharawi, almost flipped. We know that Fujiwara likes to counter-attack. That was the case in her quarterfinal, and it worked very well for her. So Ishido goes against Fujiwara for lack of attacking intent. Abdelawi's coach telling her to be aggressive once again. Show some aggression. Certainly what she's going to do. La même chose, do the same again. Abdelawi being told. And there is an ippon. Both shoulders to the ground. Aggressive. Showing the right kind of aggression. Channel that. Foot round the outside in an Osoto move. Flicked Fujiwara over. Got the right shoulder to the ground, then the left one. And an ippon wins it. Just over a minute, and Abdelawi is into the final where she will face Priscilla Gagné. Bronze in Rio 5 years ago. She's going to go at least one better this time around. Birthday tomorrow. What kind of gift is she going to have? Will it be silver? Will it be gold? We'll find that out in the afternoon session. Fujiwara will come back to battle it out for a bronze against the repechage winner. Let's watch this. Right shoulder, left shoulder, both of them down. Fujiwara out, Abdelawi through. Repechage for the men's 66 kilo and under category. Seto Yujiro lost to Kuranbayev, which means he gets to go in the repechage. Mungbat Ajim defeated Wayne Phipps early on and then lost to David Korava. These two battling it out to see who will face one of the defeated semi-finalists for a bronze medal. Mungbat Ajim in white, Seto of Japan in blue. Much scrambling around the tatami to begin with. Almost a little bit of breakdancing there. Breakdancing coming in Paris in 3 years' time. But at the moment we're at the Paras, the Paralympics Tokyo 2020. Seto Yujiro in blue, 19th in the world. What a feather in his cap it would be if he could make it through to a bronze medal contest and maybe win that medal. 21 years old. Mungbat Ajim of Mongolia, 32 years old, number 6 in the world. 9th in London 9 years ago. 3rd in the Asian Paralympic Games in Jakarta 3 years ago in Indonesia. Ooh, just avoids a wazari. Does Munkbat in white. Manages to keep both of his shoulders up. But there's a shido against him. Reminder that shidos only really count on the scoreboard. Those are the yellow cards, the sanctions. They count on the scoreboard as of 3. 3 is a wazari, so half a nippon, and 4 is a nippon. 4 and you're out, 3 and you're behind. And if it goes to golden score, then 3 and you're out, because any score counts. Any score ends the contest. Referee allows it to keep going. There's plenty of attacking, counter-attacking. There's a wazari. I thought there was a wazari there for a shoulder to the ground, but it looks like Munkbat just kept both shoulders up once again. And it was the referee calling a stop. Repechage competition here. Reminder that this winner of this will go up against a defeated semi-finalist. Second shido against Munkbat Ajim for not getting the grip. So one more and it'll be a wazari against him. Just a minute and a half into this bout. Wazari goes the way of the Mongolian. Managed to get one of Seto's shoulders down. So he's now the one in the lead. He's been looking to get down into squat positions, sweeping across with his legs. Finally managed to get that one to work. So he's the first one on the scoreboard. Gong from the other mat. This bout's going to continue. Ooh, almost an Osoto leg hook round the back from Ajim. Seto managing to fall forwards rather than backwards. Shido this time goes against Seto. So a yellow card to him. Seto trying to get his leg around the back, trying to get a right leg hook. If there hasn't been an ippon by the end of the 4 minutes, then at the moment it's Ajim that will win it by dint of that wazari. Mind you that judo is it's sudden death, really. If you can throw an ippon straight away, then you can win it inside the first couple of seconds. One more wazari, so a throw that gets his opponent half on his back, or a pin for 10 seconds would be enough for the Mongolian. There is a... Ooh, I thought it's an ippon! It's an ippon against him! It was a full throw. I would have gone for a wazari, but it was a full throw, both shoulders down. I don't think Ajim can believe it. But Seto has turned that right around. With barely half a minute to go, he was a wazari down. Gets the leg hooked around the outside for Onosoto. Throws his opponent to the floor. It's an ippon. Ajim is out. Seto is through to the bronze medal match. Winner of the repechage. Quite a turnaround there from Seto, a 21-year-old, mere number 19 in the world. Here we can see the throw, gets his leg inside, 1, 2. Ooh, yes, there was a full back on the ground. Maybe not the entire second left shoulder, but enough of the back was on the ground for that to be an ippon. Viktor Rudenko lost to Gamiashvili in the quarters. And then the world number 2, Namig Abbasli, had to come through the pre-pechage to get into the repechage. Rudenko, red circle, fully visually impaired. He's the one in blue. Again, this is a repechage to see who gets through to the bronze medal match, and there will be 2 bronze medal matches. The 2 defeated semi-finalists will face the 2 repechage winners. Namig Abbasli in white, the world number 2, 23 years old. Bronze medalist in Genoa, the European Championships 2 years ago. Viktor Rudenko, much older, 35 years old. He's the one in blue. 8th in London 9 years ago. He also finished 3rd in the European Championships, but in a previous event, the one in Warsaw 4 years ago. Referee gets them back in there, obviously giving Rudenko guidance as he's fully visually impaired. Rudenko just the number 16 seed coming in here against the world number 2. This move began in the yellow, so the referee's going to see if he can get... Well, either of them could get something out of this. The referee decides that it's not going to come to anything in the end. Abbasli looking to pin his opponent. Rudenko looking to get his opposite number in between his legs for a hold. Rudenko in blue. He's also a wrestler. Competed in para sambo wrestling and won silver at the 2017 National Championships in Moscow 4 years ago. Representing the Russian Paralympic Committee here. This is coach Roman Kalikov. Abbasli going to be given a little bit of treatment here. I think he's taken a knock to the head. .23 years old, but already up to number 2 here in the seedings. There's his coach, Ibrahim Ibrahimov. Number 2 in the world, so we'll be disappointed that he's not going for gold or silver, but if he wins this, he will be in a bronze medal contest. A reminder that there's 2 bronze medals. There are 2 bronze medals awarded in all of the combat sports at the Olympics and the Paralympics. So that will be the same here in the judo, also in karate and in taekwondo that we're having for the first time at the Paralympics. Wazari is already called first by coach Ibrahimov, and then the referee confirms that. Wazari for Abbasli. Trying for a hold, but the referee hasn't said that there's a pin yet, and breaks them apart. Abbasli in the lead now with that Wazari. Rudenko led back to his starting position by the referee. The Azerbaijanis in the crowd, chanting the name of their country to encourage Abbasli. Rudenko with it all to do now. Abbasli happy to take a few seconds off the clock. He's the one in the lead. Taking a lot of seconds off the clock there, Abbasli, into the final minute. You get the impression that he'll be happy to nurse his lead and maybe try something on the counter-attack. 52 seconds to go. Not a lot coming from Abbasli. keeping his opponent literally and metaphorically at arm's length, eating up the time. Shows a little bit of attacking intent just to keep the referee at bay. And we're down into the last half a minute. Abbasli, a Wazari to the good, and that will be enough if we get to the final gong. Nippon wins it outright, but a Wazari, if you're ahead on the scoreboard when the gong goes, then you're the one to get through, and there are just 10 seconds to go. Referee allows it to continue. Stops it with 6 to go. Shido does indeed go against Abbasli, but he won't mind. 6 seconds to go. Looks like Azerbaijan are going to have a representative in the bronze medal match. And that's the gong on our mat. And Abbasli, the number 2, tries to help up his opponent, Rudenko, having none of it. Disappointment from him. But it's Abbasli who is through to the bronze medal match. Number 2 seed will have wanted more than that coming into the tournament. Another Shido against him, but it doesn't matter. Abbasli is through to the bronze medal match. Absolute delight. Tears of joy, it would appear, from Abbasli. So it'll be the number 2 seed against the number 1 seed, David Korava, for a bronze medal. Who would have thought that? That will come in the afternoon session, as we see the Wazari that won it for him already given by his coach, and then the referee follows suit a second or 2 later. Women's repechage now. No pre-pechage for them. Straight into the repechage. Carla Cardoso, who lost to Ramona Brusig. And she will face Alessia Stepaniuk, who lost to Priscilla Gagné. This for a place in the bronze medal match against a defeated semi-finalist. Stepaniuk on the left in white, 36 years old, number 8 in the world. Cardoso in blue, 39 years old, number 12. Already a Wazari for Stepaniuk of the Russian Paralympic Committee. Mere seconds in. Stepaniuk, 3rd in Beijing 13 years ago now. 5th in London, then took a career break, gave birth to daughter Daria, and she's back now at the age of 36. Cardoso, 2nd in Athens 17 years ago. Another silver in Beijing 4 years after that. 5th in London, 7th in Rio. Bidding for a bronze here in her 5th Paralympics. pulling down. So a Shido against Cardoso. Stepaniuk's coach telling her that all it needs is a Wazari to win. She's already got one of those in the bag. The coach Islam Ibragimov, the one you can hear in the background. Referee allowed that to continue for a while since it began on the yellow part of the mat.
Estica a mão, ela vai subir.
Winner of the W1 in white judo representing France. Tatami wa shosha shiro France. Sandrine Martinet. Martinet of France goes to the final. Martinet 選手が決勝進出を決めました。Representing Ukraine, Ivanitska, who compete for the bronze.
ウクライナのイバニツカヤ選手は銅メダル決定戦をとしています。
Olha o braço, Carla. Roda junto. Cara.
Referee's going to bring them back into the confines of the 10-meter by 10-meter yellow part of the tatami.
Na hora que ela estiver trocando a pegada, ela já está mudando a pegada. Você está esticando, ela não está achando. Vamos, meu, pra cima dela. Tem 1,50 ainda. Tem que trabalhar a chulata também. Ó, tá vendo? Tá indo direto.
The second Shido to Cardoso. Halfway through this repechage. Stepaniuk, a Wazari to the good. Cardoso with 2 Shidos against her. Another Shido will be a Wazari. And that will make 2 Wazaris against her, and that will make Ippon. So Cardoso with it all to do.
Take. Хороший, четкий контроль. Контратака. Не 1,15, cara. 1,15. Не катись за ней. Mexe bem a mão da bola. Mexe bem a mão da bola. Mexe, a mão da bola tá parada.
Almost down into the final minutes. Stepaniuk having taken the early lead, managing the fight very well since then.
Ei. Sai na frente dela. 50 segundos, Carla. 50 segundos.
Cardoso's coach, Antonio Luis, in the background there, trying to get his fighter on the front foot. Two mothers going head-to-head here. 39-year-old Carla Cardoso has a son, Luis Enrique. Alessia Stepaniuk, 36 years old, a daughter, Daria. And of course, former medalists. Cardoso with silver in Beijing, the year that Stepaniuk won bronze. And is that enough? It is indeed. It's an ippon, it's an outright ippon. Cardoso knows that it's over. Stepaniuk wins it. She was already a wazari to the good, but there, a wonderful flip with the legs. Gets both of her opponent's shoulders to the ground. Wins it with an ippon. Stepaniuk from the Russian Paralympic Committee is through to the bronze medal match. She will face Japanese fighter Fujiwara Yui in the bronze medal match. An early wazari from her, and then managed the fight very well, finished it off with a flourish with an ippon inside the last minute, an outright ippon. There we see it, a beautiful foot inside. Flips her opponent over. Cardoso down and out. No medal for her this time around in her 5th Paralympics.
The last contest, women's under 52-kilogram category, final of repechage.
Natalia Nikolaichik of Ukraine against Basti Safarova of Azerbaijan. Both of them edged out. Basti Safarova ended up being disqualified, took a 3rd Shido against Fujiwara. She's in blue this time around. Nikolaichuk, who won against Wong Chompu in a matter of seconds in her preliminary round, and then lost to finalist Abdelawi in the quarters. Natalia Nikolaichik, 34 years old. World number 11, Basti Safarova, number 5 seed, 23 years old. Nikolaichik got a bronze medal 9 years ago, and here she is hoping to win the repechage and go for another bronze. Almost a dream start for her. Couldn't quite get the wazari. Nikolaichik in white this time around. She won the World Championships in Colorado Springs 7 years ago. And there we have it. Wins it within 32 seconds. Safarova says, Maita, I'm tapping out. Nikolaichik wins it in half a minute. Safarova still down. I think this is more mental distress than physical, but it could be a combination of the two as the medical staff come out. In fact, it is very much medical. Nikolaichik wins it in 30 seconds. A submission, Maita. Her opponent tapping out. Receiving medical attention now. Nikolajczyk, who will face Ramona Brusig for a bronze medal. Nikolajczyk, bronze medalist 9 years ago in London, and she's now just one bout away from repeating that feat. But she'll have to go up against Ramona Brusig, who has plenty of medals to her name in Paralympic judo, and that will be in the afternoon session. That is the final bout of the morning session. Nikolajczyk defeating Safarova, who fortunately gets to her feet, not needing that much more medical attention, but she tapped out very quickly in that particular hold from Nikolajczyk. Great to see her on her feet and leaving more or less under her own steam, not requiring the stretcher. And here's the move again. The little osoto, and then gets her opponent into a chokehold with the legs, and she taps out straight away. You can see that within barely a second or two. Well, she walked off under her own steam, so hopefully that was, as we say, more mental distress than physical. Brings an end to the morning session on mat number 2. The afternoon session will have the bronze medal and then the gold medal competitions all over on mat number 1.
Winner in blue judogi representing Turkey.
畳は勝者青トルコ
repechage.